Two articles coming out about the situation between Russia and Ukraine, which has been ongoing, much in shock as to Trump saying he was going to end that almost instantly, and here we are, quite a few months later. But Ukraine and allies have set an ultimatum to Russia, not that that ever works nicely because they don't take well to ultimatums or threats, to accept a 30-day ceasefire. The leaders of France, the United Kingdom, Germany and Poland threatened to ratchet up pressure on Russian President Putin if he does not accept an unconditional 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine that they offered on Saturday in a strong show of unity with Kiev. Ukraine and 4 European leaders pressed Russia to accept the ceasefire starting Monday, today, threatening Moscow with coordinated sanctions, which they're already under, if he did not comply. The ultimatum was given after talks in Kiev attended by President Volodymyr Zelensky and the leaders of Britain, France, Germany and Poland. The United States and other countries back the proposal, they say. The Kremlin spokesman told CNN that Moscow will think through the proposal, but stressed there are lots of questions and that Russia is resistant to any kind of pressure. Duh. Russia and Ukraine set to start peace talks on Thursday in Istanbul after Trump pressures Zelensky to accept Putin's proposal. So they gave the demand to Russia. Russia looked over the demand and gave a counter demand back. Trump said, Zelensky, you better play ball. But let's hear what the article says. Russia and Ukraine will start direct peace negotiations Thursday in Istanbul, Turkey. The startling development came after a weekend filled with negotiations by peacemakers from the Donald Trump administration with a complete ceasefire between India and Pakistan, which didn't last, a 4th round of talks with Iran, which are really bad talks, they should just deal with them, and now the beginning of negotiations between Russians and Ukrainians. Sounds like he really wants to be known as the man of peace, the deal maker. President Putin of Russia doesn't want to have a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, but rather wants to meet on Thursday in Turkey to negotiate a possible end to the bloodbath. Ukraine should agree to this immediately. At least they will be able to determine whether or not a deal is possible. And if it is not, European leaders and the US will know where everything stands and can proceed accordingly. I'm starting to doubt that Ukraine will make a deal with Putin, who's too busy celebrating the victory of World War II, which could not have been won even closely without the United States of America. Have the meeting now. Trump. So that was Trump's opinion that he blasted out there, and I think it's hilarious, maybe it's just me, that he just had to get that dig into Russia because Russia's saying they were the major player leading to the victory of World War II, and America says the same thing. So even talking about something completely different, Putin gets nailed here by Trump saying, no, you wouldn't even have come close without the United States of America. It's like watching a boys' club arguing about who's the strongest. But anyway, Zelensky. We await a full and lasting ceasefire starting from tomorrow, so today, to provide the necessary basis for diplomacy. There is no point in prolonging the killings, and I will be waiting for Putin in Turkey on Thursday. Personally, I hope this time the Russians will not look for excuses. So that's his response. And then this is Putin. It was not Russia that broke off negotiations in 2022. It was Kiev. Nevertheless, we are proposing that Kiev resume direct negotiations without any preconditions, Putin said, referring to failed talks shortly after the Russian invasion of 2022. We offer the Kiev authorities to resume negotiations already on Thursday in Istanbul, Putin said. So now all the big players have voiced their opinions. Everyone's discussed. Apparently, Putin and Zelensky are going to Turkey to go and sit down and discuss this and come to some sort of an agreement. Will they? Won't they? Definitely worth keeping our eyes on this one. Who's going to claim that they were instrumental and the ones who did this if they do come to some sort of an agreement? Will it be the European leaders in the UK? Will it be Donald Trump? Donald Trump. Who's going to claim the victory here to have set this whole thing up? We'll wait and see. It's interesting that they're trying to facilitate this thing, and for the people on the ground's sake, again, for the civilians in Ukraine and the civilians everywhere, I'm hoping that they can come to some sort of a decision and agreement or something here. And again, we're praying for those who need Jesus, who still need to meet Jesus. We're praying for the Christians in those areas, that they will be emboldened and strengthened, given wisdom, and be able to help and reach out to those around them. Keep watching. Shalom.